like to request Mr. Pradeep to felicitate Mr. Suman Billa. मेरा निवेदन है कि प्लीज फेलिसिटेशन स्टेज पर ले आएं और सुमन बिल्ला जी का मंच पर सम्मान करें. The fact that Mr. Suman Billa has been here with us since today morning, having been a part of a high-power session during the day, of course felicitating Mr. John T. Rhodes. The fact that he's been a part of a high-powered session during the day and is now here with us for the award ceremony also in a way shows the tourism department's commitment to bringing up the best of hospitality and restauranting in India. With this, as we complete the felicitation, I invite Mr. Pradeep Shetty to deliver the welcome address to the awards night and a valedictory.
Good evening, gentlemen. And all of you had a good time. I don't hear anybody. Can I have a louder response? I'm really fortunate to have all of you assemble here after a long gap. And in this city of Goa, and all the more fortunate and grateful to have Mr. Suman Billa, who is the Additional Secretary, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India. He has, as I said earlier, when he came back into the ministry, it was a welcome news for us, and we look forward to working with you, sir. With the vast and enormous knowledge and experience you have in this sector, I think it will do wonders for us. And secondly, may I also express my heartfelt gratitude to John D. John D, you were kind enough to accept our invitation. Needless to say that you are a legendary South African cricketer, but I feel today you are a true ambassador for India too. I find you spend so much time in India. And I think it goes beyond cricket. Your love for us and our love for you as a great cricketer, great sportsman, your fitness and your spirits now, which all of us will discover once we hear from you. Thank you for coming here. Thank you all. We will now start with the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And with this, it's time to hear Mr. Suman Billa once again for this evening.
Good evening. President of FHRAI, Mr. Pradeep Shetty, one of the best fielders and cricketers that we have seen in our lifetimes, Mr. John T. Rhodes, ladies and gentlemen. Let me first begin by apologizing that for coming out in formal wear because I did not get the brief on the Indian ethnic wear for this evening, so which is why I dressed. But I'm not feeling out of place because I see several others who are still in tie and jacket, so it's, I'm not in a minority of one. So I know that you all had a very long day and so let me try and keep this short. I just want to run you through some numbers. Let me try and pique your interest and see as to what the big picture looks like. And there is perhaps something that we are missing out on. So since the time that I have taken over as Additional Secretary in May, I have been working with several industry sources, with several data banks, think tanks, etc. And what I have done is essentially to peel the numbers that we have to see as to what the position for India looks like from a tourism perspective. So let's go. So this is what the numbers look like. We all know that the Indian economy has been growing at 7% CAGR year on year, and we think that tourism is actually poised for robust growth. But that is an assumption which has a lot of, which must be taken with a lot of salt. Essentially, we have 17 million international tourist arrivals. An international tourist is somebody who has is somebody who's an Indian who typically lives abroad. That means he owns an Indian passport living abroad, and those who are foreign passport holders. So when you narrow it down to only the international passport holders, that number comes down to 9.2 million. That is what we call as foreign tourist arrivals. The domestic tourist visits, you all know, is little over 2.5 billion. Indians are traveling like never before, and that's happening very strongly. And outbound, this is one thing that we also need to do. Just as anxiously as we look at those who are coming into India, we also need to look at who are those who are going outside and what that demography reflects. And 5.4% is the contribution of the tourism sector to the GDP of India. And in terms of employment, we contribute 76 million jobs to the economy. Now, let me try and peel these numbers a little to see as to what are some of the conclusions that we can draw. So this is essentially the chart of foreign tourist arrivals. I am not taking international tourist arrivals here because Indian passport holders typically have their homes, they will go to their homes, stay with relatives, etc. So for us who are within this room, our focus should be on foreign passport holders who visit India. Now, if we split these numbers by purpose of travel, 4.2 million of them travel for leisure and holidays, and 0.9 million of them travel for business. So that's effectively 5.1 million people who should be our target, because the rest of them are Indian diaspora who are mostly staying with their families. It is people who are coming on medical visits, who are going to stay in hospitals, and there are others, it is essentially like diplomatic corps, etc., who are traveling in and down. So if I look at the growth rate that India has taken on foreign tourist arrivals for several years now, and I remove the COVID numbers, and I just extrapolate that growth rate over from now on to 2029, this is how the numbers will look like. In 24, we are likely to move to 7.4 million, and by 2029, if we don't do anything, we will get to 10.4 million. So the growth rate is going to be robust. And what I have done is essentially 7.3% is the rate at which we have grown over the past few years, and if we assume that growth, this is the number that it will deliver. And we will also make a provision for flattening it out as we go forward. But however, if we get our game plan right and we really push the needle, we can actually move these numbers a bit farther. By 2029, instead of 10.4 million, we will be able to reach a number of 11.9 million. So let's now look at what the domestic tourist visits look like. So we all know that we have 2.5 billion tourist visits that are happening, but not all of them are objects of interest for those of us in the room here. So essentially, if you split the domestic tourists by the reason for which they travel, you have leisure and travel. There are 427 million visits happening for leisure and travel. There is 326 million visits happening for shopping, and there is 226 million visits happening for business. So the rest are social, which is essentially people staying with their relatives, health and medical, going to hospitals, pilgrimage and religious activities, people who are staying in dharamshalas, etc. mostly, education and training, those who are staying in hostels, etc. And there are others, which is a miscellaneous category. So essentially, if we look at what is the number that really matters for us, that's going to be this 427 million plus 226 plus 326. That's leisure and holiday plus business plus shopping. And I think it is this segment that we need to focus on and that we need to make it grow. So if you look at the graph on the right, and I have done exactly the same thing, just taken as business as usual, how has domestic tourist visits grown over the past few years, and I have tried to extrapolate the numbers. From 530 million, which will be the number that we take, there is just one more filter that I've placed on this, is that I have only taken those who stay in hotels and guest houses. I have not taken those who stay in dharamshalas, chowdhuries, etc. So if we take that filter and we look at the number, 530 million visits is what we have this year. Now that number will almost double to 932 million visits by the year 2029 if we don't do anything. This is the growth rate that we can assume, because this is where the economic demography is moving. However, if we push the needle and if we try to put in good policies, and if we are able to push the dynamics of tourism, we will actually be able to push it further to over 1 billion 1059 million. So 7.74% is the growth rate at which we will grow at business as usual, and 10.6% is what we can achieve if we are able to push the needle. Now let me explain to you the third dimension of this number, which is essentially outbound. All of us speak and say that there are 27 million Indians who are traveling abroad every year. But not all of them are traveling for the sake of business and for the sake of leisure. Most of them are traveling for other reasons. For example, if you look at this pie chart, 7.9 million of them are traveling for leisure and holidays. 3.7 million for business, 8.5 million is Indian diaspora, and then you have pilgrimage, educational and others. So for us, the target is the 7.9 million people who are going out on leisure, and we should try to see as to how we can retain some of them in India. And I think the number that we should work on is about 10%, because every dollar saved is a dollar earned. We don't need to get more international tourists in, but if we are able to incentivize domestic travelers to stay back, we will be able to reach this target. So this 27 million that we have in 2023, if we assume the growth rate in a business as usual scenario, this is going to reach 44 million by the year 2029. And this is a big outflow, and this is something that we need to be looking at. So let's look at what the job numbers look like. And I think the reason why tourism sector is very important for the government is because of the ability of the sector to create meaningful jobs and quality jobs across all levels. So from 79 million, which are the jobs that the tourism contributes in this year, if everything goes as normal, that number will reach 93 million by 2029. And if we are able to achieve the growth that we think that we can through a targeted approach, then that 93 million will actually move to 102 million jobs, which is significant. And I think this is really the value that the tourism sector brings, and this is something that we should be looking at. Now, let me make the counter argument, and I think the next slide is the most important slide. I just want you to pay some attention to this, because all of this, the slides that we have been shown so far, gives us the impression that growth is a given and we are going to grow robustly. Nothing can be farther than the truth, because if we do not, there is one major stumbling block that you will see. Now I want you to pay close attention to this chart. So the first three are the branded room category. So if you take a look at all the rooms that are there in India in the branded category and all of those which are under development, today in India we have 180,000 hotel rooms in the branded segment. Now if we have to reach the target that we have said that we should reach, today we should be having 4 lakh additional rooms. We have 180,000 rooms and we should be having today 4 lakh additional rooms. That is the gap that I am saying exists between the demand and supply. And what this means is that when you convert this into the numbers, into investment, that means 55,000 crores of additional investment need to happen into the hotel sector right now, this year. So when you go to 2029 and project how the trend looks like, you will see that by 2029 the pipeline shows that we will have 240,000 rooms in the country. But by then, to factor in the growth and to be able to meet the growth target, we should have 850,000 additional hotel rooms in this country by the year 2029, which means that we need to have investments happening to the tune of 130,000 crores in addition to what is happening now. And let's look at the story in unbranded rooms. And similarly, if you look at the current year, and if we look at all the rooms in the inventory and those in the pipeline, we have 1.5 million. And this year, we should have a requirement of 2.8 million additional rooms. That is the requirement that we should be having, which means investments ought to have been of the order of 4,09,000 crores of rupees. And by 2029, you will see that that number will go to 2 million rooms is what we will have in the country. But by then we would require an additional 6.5 million rooms, and there is 8,72,000 crores of investment that needs to happen for us to reach this target. So essentially, just to circle back on what I spoke this morning, and just to flag some of the issues that I have mentioned, is that there is no doubt that India is on a long-term growth cycle and we are just at the beginning of a huge transformative growth. But there are some things that we need to do. We have to change the capital structure that we have. We will have to take the hotels out of the list of real estate for lending purposes and bring it into the infrastructure list. And I do not believe that the government has to do heavy lifting, because if the government is able to create the right conditions for entrepreneurs to come, if we are able to unleash the animal spirits, there will be investments which will come. They will come domestically, they will come from foreign funds, but this will happen. Because India's growth story is just getting started on tourism and hospitality. So I think the first is we need to get the infrastructure status for the hotel industry, which means that you will get your debt at about 2 to 3% lower than what you're getting today. And then we need to, and you will also be able to pay it back over a longer period, that's about 15 years as compared to an 8-year period that you typically get today. The second is that we need to get states on board to ensure that they also give in decent amount of investments, incentives and subsidies to be able to take the investors past the tipping scale so that we have more and more investments going into this. So this is really the thought that I want to leave with you today, is all of us believe that India is in a great place. There is no doubt that we are in a great place. India is growing and there is nothing to suggest that India is going to slow down. India's infrastructure is picked up like never before. But one of the biggest laggards that's happening in the India growth story is the tourism and hospitality growth story. And all of us here in this room should work together to see as to how to make that happen. And how is it, what are the things that we need to do? How do we put our minds together to create a framework in which tourism can rightfully contribute to the GDP and we are able to take the contribution of GDP from 5 to 10% in the next 8 to 10 years. I thank you all for a patient hearing. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Suman Billa sir, and I'm sure your optimism and enthusiasm for the Indian tourism growth story will rub on to everyone that's seated here in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, as I invite Mr. Rhodes to deliver his address and motivate us all, you are in India, sir. And for us, cricket is a united, combined passion. We are a country that loves our gentlemen games, that loves our men in blue. And in a very circular way though, cricket is also a huge contributor to the tourism and hospitality pie, not only in India, but all over the world. Because we love to watch our matches live and we love to travel in an entire bunch. Any match where the boys in blue are playing, you can be sure that there would be an entire arena just reserved for Indians where they are boisterous, making a lot of noise and living the match with every single ball. So ladies and gentlemen, bringing to you all the emotions and joys of cricket, please put your hands up for Mr. John T. Rhodes.
Good evening, namaskar, namaskar, namaskar. Anybody from TN, Tamil Nadu? Vanakkam. Hey, good to see, good to see, good to see. It's amazing to be here. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And anybody else from Goa, or just my wife and myself? Anybody else from Goa? Great to have you, great to have all you neighborly people. It's wonderful to be here, and it's interesting because we've just heard that there are obstacles, but there are also opportunities. It's always the opposite side of the same coin, the obstacle and the opportunity. So it depends how you look at it. And I think what is really exciting, and the reason why my wife and I are in India, is that there is this public-private partnership, talking cricket, full power, talking cricket. There's a partnership that's happening in India that has taken the hashtag Incredible India and is going to drive it towards Inevitable India. And that is why Melanie and myself are based in India. Everybody wants to be in India right now. Especially us from South Africa. come with our passports and visas. There's been a few issues on the border up there in the north where people are sneaking in and out without the visa, no? Because they also want a piece of India, but they want to take it forcefully. But it's really amazing. I mean, we've been coming to India as a couple and as a family since 2013, 2014, and PM Modi spoke about Make in India. So obviously it's more than just the incredible service that the hospitality offers, but Make in India is just as important. And we've seen that change. We've seen the growth mindset in India. Not only in sport, the Indian team, despite today's or the test match happening in Bangalore, the Indian team has been at the top of the test, 50 over and T20, which is pretty remarkable if you think about it. And it's amazing to see that. I mean, we heard about Make in India, my wife Melanie and I. So, of course, being good visitors, we listened to PM Modi, and in 2015 we had baby India born in Mumbai. In 2017 we had baby Nathan born in Mumbai. So Make in India was something that we held on to very carefully. And it's interesting because it kind of relates to something that I have often. Anybody here from Mumbai, Maharashtra? Okay. So the Mumbai Indians, any fans? We all watch IPL, correct? Full Power spoke about the passion for cricket. And after 9 seasons of fielding coaching with Mumbai Indians, people ask me, Jonty, why did you take a break? I took a 2-year break from any IPL. And I said, well, you know, it came down to a contractual discussion with Nita Babi, Mrs. Ambani. So what do you mean? You know, they can afford anything, surely. They had very long weddings, go on for days and months. And I said, yeah, but it was, no, I had 9 seasons, 3-year contract, 3-year contract, 3-year contract, now finished and up for discussion. And Nita Babi is a very traditional woman, and a lot of superstition comes with that in India. And she sat me down and said, listen, Jonty, we as management of Mumbai Indians, as the owners, we want to ask you something. 2015, you and Melanie, you had a baby. Mumbai Indians won the trophy. Next year, nothing. 2017, you and Melanie had a baby, Nathan. Mumbai Indians won the trophy. Jonty, how many more babies can you have? And Melanie's going, bus, no more. No, Jonty, take a break. No more babies. So we've left Mumbai Indians and they've managed to win trophies without the Rhodeses having any more children. So we did come here expecting maybe if the children are born in Mumbai, then they will at least get a passport or something. But I think with 1.4 billion Indians, let's take your 2 and go. We have enough of our own. Thank you very much. So it's been really an incredible journey, and we are living down the road in Goa. 6 months in Goa, 6 months in Cape Town. And we live in a very small village, and we really believe that we have a fantastic 6 months in India. The village is the saying in South Africa, and I know it's very similar in India. The saying goes that it takes a village to raise a child. And we really feel supported, not only in our home country of India, but also in our adopted, or home country of South Africa, but our adopted home country of India. So that support and that love for cricket, it also extends into cricketing families, and for that we are very, very grateful. But I think this is just one message that I would really like to sort of leave with you, and hopefully it's some sort of inspiration, because playing cricket for as many years as I did, and now as a cricket coach, there's a different perspective for me. You know, and I think what we need to do, and we've heard that the change needs to take place, because what is currently available and what is needed from a demand point of view is not quite matching. So obviously something needs to change. And change is inevitable. It is all around us, and it takes place all the time. And I've seen captains and cricket teams handle change in 3 very different ways. So we had a very inexperienced team, the first World Cup in 1992 in Australia. Kepler Wessels was the captain of South Africa, having played for Australia for many years. But because we'd had 27 years of isolation under the apartheid regime in South Africa, we were very inexperienced in 1992. So Kepler Wessels was the only player who felt qualified to make decisions on our behalf. So as a captain, he told us not only what to do, but how to do it. So micromanaging to the nth degree. So very difficult to be under that sort of control captaincy for too long. And then what we saw was 1996 Cricket World Cup gave us a bit of a shock. Anybody remember 1996? Who won that World Cup? Sri Lanka. Why did they win that World Cup? Why do you think they won that World Cup? Yeah. Aravinda, Arjuna. But what about those two guys at the top of the order? Sanath and Kalu. So two young players who took the game away from the opposition. So all of us, the rest of the teams at the tournament, were all trying to bat for the first 15 overs sensibly, lay a foundation. 45 runs, so 3 runs an over, maybe 50, but for only 1 wicket down. And then in the middle overs, players like myself and Hansi Cronje, fit young players who could run between the wickets. No risk, but hitting the bad ball for boundary, but making sure that we took the score right up to the 40th over, and then we could start hitting big shots. And trying to get the total to 200 runs. And in 50 overs, I mean nowadays in T20, people are looking for 200 plus. But then in the 90s, the mid-90s, 200 was a good score, defendable, if you bowled well. And the Sri Lankans said, but what is the point of doing the same thing as we did in 1992, where they came last in the tournament, and expecting a different result? Do the same thing, expect a different result. We are silly. So they sent out these 2 young players to hit the ball as hard as they could. If you see it, hit it. If you're aiming there and it goes to third man, no problem. Sanath just teed off. Hit everything that he saw as hard as he could. So the rest of the teams were talking about who can we get as a pitch hitter. We were now trying to embrace what the Sri Lankans were doing. None of us could keep up with the Sri Lankans. We tried Pat Simcox. India even tried Javigal Srinath. Because he's a tall guy, he could hit a long ball with those long arms of his, but never consistently. So Sri Lanka won that World Cup in 1996. And it was such an important lesson for me, and possibly for all of us, because we embraced what the Sri Lankans were doing. We said, okay, we've got to find a pitch hitter. Let's do what the Sri Lankans are doing. But to become world champions, to achieve those goals, to break the records, you need to be innovative. And the interesting thing is that innovation is not always some new system or some new technology. You think about the way the Sri Lankans batted. They didn't have different equipment to the rest of us. Their bats were still the same, they didn't have metal bats. If I was a fielder in the 90s, I was rated as the #1 fielder in the world. I said, what are you talking about? There was no #2 fielder. Nobody else was fielding. You know, the Indian team would come and they would maximum put a foot in the way, or usually call the ball boy, throw the ball back, not walking all the way to the boundary to fetch it. So easy to be the #1 in the world when there's no #2 or #3. Nobody else was fielding. So I was seen as this innovation in the fielding arena. But I didn't have rockets in my shoes. I didn't have any different equipment. Like the Sri Lankan opening batters, I had a different mindset towards fielding. So change, innovation, doesn't have to be the latest gadget, the latest system. Change and innovation can be your perception. The way that you look at obstacles. Is it an obstacle or is it an opportunity? Sometimes just changing your perception is innovation in itself. So just remember that. You don't have to sit back and wait for things to happen and AI to solve things for us. We can be innovative in the way that we approach obstacles, in the way that we approach and identify opportunities. So remember that when you go out, there is a lot of work to be done. But just like in a cricketing environment where collaboration and partnerships are vital, that is the amazing thing about India. There really is a growth mindset in this country. I remember playing against the Indian team in the 90s, the early 90s especially. Kapil Dev, the great Kapil Dev, had just finished his career, and Javagal Srinath was a really up-and-coming fast bowler. He's a fantastic man. But he would take your wicket and almost apologize. Oh, sorry, Jyoti. Very sorry for getting you out. Maybe second innings you'll score some runs. Don't make me, don't hold it against me. So a very different mindset to the Sourav Ganguly standing on the stage at Lord's. Anyone remember that, on the balcony, swinging his shirt, pointing at Mr. Flintoff, I think he'd done the same thing. To Virat Kohli, very much in your face of the opposition. Okay, so it's amazing to see India, and sport often reflects the culture of the country. And the growth mindset in India is definitely an opportunity to take it from incredible India to inevitable India. And as I said, we are here as a family because we believe that there's scope and growth for everybody who's willing and prepared to work with the people in their communities. And that is where I think India is slightly different to South Africa. We talk about doing that in South Africa, but in India, Melanie and I see it every day that we are living in this incredible country. So thank you very much for your time this evening. Thank you for having us. And just again, obstacles and opportunities. It just depends on your perception and how you see them. Alright, thank you very much for your time.
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for, at least mentioning me twice as full power. So, I love that. This is the first time somebody's actually called me out that way. But you were mentioning, we were listening to you backstage with equal interest, and you said that you now spend a considerable amount of time in Goa with your little ones and Melanie. Yeah? So the next time when one of my friends visiting Goa tells me that Goa villages have very little roads, I will see that dialogue in an entirely new light. But just in the interest of the next team that you're coaching, and you're really desperate for them to win, and you do take Anita Bhabhi's advice, and if Melanie relents, in all humility, I have a suggestion. You please name your next one country. And for all you know, country roads will take everyone home. So ladies and gentlemen, as we move on, are we ready for the awards? How many people are optimistic that they are winning one this evening? Can I see a show of hands? Sir, I love that. Every woman loves an optimistic, enthusiastic man. Because this is a man who's got immense confidence on his capabilities. So that's a very good thing. How many people think they're going home with one tonight, an award? Very nice to see. So ladies and gentlemen, let's find out who's winning the awards tonight, and we shall start with the institutional awards category, and from there on we will move to some of the biggest individual honors of the year. As we've got our esteemed guests on the stage, may I request you to kindly step forward, and we will just take 30 seconds to turn over the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the best fielder in the world! So as our presenters are standing on the stage, ladies and gentlemen, we will just take a minute to clear out the stage for the best pictures possible. And while they do that, I was just remembering how in his motivational speech, Mr. Rhodes almost made S. Shrisa sound like a man from Lucknow. Itni tehzeeb. मतलब मुआफ कीजिए लेकिन आपकी विकेट का जनाजा तो उठाना ही पड़ेगा. That was so beautiful. So now we are ready, and ladies and gentlemen, we would like to start with a very special award for the evening. This award truly goes out to a lady who is in herself a force and a power to reckon with. For everyone that is in Goa, she truly needs no introduction. For everyone that's a part of the hospitality, hoteliering, restauranting ecosystem of India, again to them, she truly needs no introduction. But still, here I am standing at the podium doing my job, and I will try my best to read out her profile to you as we welcome her on the stage for a very grand honor this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Anju Timlo, married to Mr. Avdhut Timlo, and they have 3 sons. Despite being busy with motherhood, she has given her entire focus and has been passionately involved with Fomento Resorts and Hotels Private Limited Goa for the last 40 years. Having been a gold medalist and a top achiever in economics and law, she's been a law teacher. She's been the president of All India Women's Conference Goa branch. She's organized social fundraisers, established Fomento Education Charitable Society and a hospitality college in Goa. Presently, she's the managing director and CEO of Fomento Resorts and Hotels Private Limited. Under the aegis of this brand that I'm talking about, you are sitting in their flagship property in Goa, the Taj Siddharth Goa Heritage and the Taj Siddharth Goa Horizon, and the upcoming resort in Maharashtra, Rakela. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please ask you to give the most resounding applause as I invite on stage Mrs. Anju Timlo for a Lifetime Hall of Fame Award. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see your hands up in the air. Our 40-year journey, now culminating on this stage is just the recognition. So ladies and gentlemen, with this, we move on to the institutional awards. Starting with the Best Hospitality Institute of the Year. And this year, we have 2 institutes winning this honor. I would like to start by inviting on stage our first winner, and this is in no particular order. The Best in Hospitality Institute of the Year is the International Institute of Hotel Management. I would like to invite on stage Dr. Subarno Bose, the Chief Mentor and Chairman of IHM and Indusmart Group Worldwide, and Mr. Abdullah Ahmed, FHRAI, I am the Chief Operating Officer. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, the awards are not very many, and I promise you your applause will make all the difference. The next award in this category, Best Hospitality Institute of the Year, goes to So the awards, as I announce these awards, this is just to let you know that while we have two main presenters on the stage, Mr. Shetty of course is standing there as the President FHRAI as a co-presenter, but I would request Suman Billa sir and Mr. John T. Rose to kindly alternate between them to give away the awards so that it's a fair balance between everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, our next award is the Institute of Hotel Management Catering, Institute of Hotel Management Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition, Hyderabad. I would like to invite on stage the Principal, Mr. Sanjay Thakur. Goes to a property in Goa, undoubtedly one of the most amazing spas. Vatavaran hi alag hai. Everyone, please put your hands up for Spa Alina, Alina Viva Goa. I would like to invite on stage the General Manager, Mr. Anish Kuzzar. Of the certificate that is going out. Of course, there is a trophy, but along with that, there is a certificate. This certificate is a very special collaboration between FHRAI and Grow Trees. Sustainability is one issue that is right now the key focal area of every sector across the economy, more so in hospitality. And this one makes a stunning statement. So as we give away these certificates, for every certificate being presented tonight, Grow More will plant one tree in the recipient's name. Right in the bottom of the certificate, there is a special code, and when you log into and launch with this code, you would be able to track the growth of your tree online as well. This is such a beautiful initiative, and harking back, yes sir, thank you so much Anish sir. Harking back to what Mr. Rhodes said in his speech just a while back, it's all about innovation. Moving on, our next award this evening is the Best Wellness Resort of the Year. And this award goes to Kamostik Ayurveda Wilderness Resort, Mr. Carl Fries, the resident manager, is invited on the stage to receive the award. Karmosty Ayurveda and Wellness Resort. I apologize, the bridge is too funny here. I want to find out, sir, what is the location of your resort? Where are you located?
Alapi, Kerala.
Alapi, Kerala. Yeah, or you want to keep it a hidden gem? Everyone, please don't mention a word out to anyone. This is in Alapi, Kerala. Let this remain in this room. Thank you so much, sir. Alright, moving on. Our final award in the institutional category, the Green Hotel of the Year. Consistent, sustainable efforts need to be recognized, acknowledged and rewarded. This honor goes to 4 points by Shelter, Mumbai. I would like to invite Kiran Muniraj, the hotel manager, to receive this honor, please. Let's hear him for Kiran Muniraj. While a lot of you sitting here are all committed, passionate, professional and focused, there are always people who go the extra mile, they go beyond the brief and they always get noticed. Just like Mr. Rhodes said, there's really no second best fielder in the world, but there is one best fielder. So that is why it's time to recognize these people, and we start with the Young Hotelier of the Year. And it's time for me to invite, this is the Young Hotelier of the Year 2024, C.A. Nandilal Agrawal, the founder of Shri Go Group of Hotels. Entrepreneur Award. Let's give him a resounding and emphatic round of applause. We move on to the Individual Manager Awards. We start with the Luxury segment for the Hotel General Manager of the Year Award. And in the Luxury segment, this award goes to the General Manager of the Lodhi, New Delhi, Mr. Abhimanyu Singh Lodhi. The GM of the Year, moving on to the Upscale segment. This honor is backed by the General Manager of Novotel Kolkata Hotel and Residences, Mr. Arjun Kakalu. the General Manager of Mercure Hyderabad KCP, Mr. Parag Shah. And in the luxury segment, this honor goes to the Director of F&B, Grand Hyatt Kochi Bolagati, Mr. Johnny Joy. Do we have Mr. Johnny Joy? Mr. Sundar Singharam, the Director Operations Shira, will receive this award on behalf of Mr. Johnny Joy. Mr. Shashi Shankar, the F&B Manager of Radisson Blu, Faridabad. This one is for the F&B Manager of Accord Puducherry, Mr. Imran Khan. I will once again request Mr. Sundar Singharam to please join us on the stage to receive this honor on his behalf. Property, we talk about chefs, and the Chef of the Year 2024 for mid-scale hotels, please put your hands up for the Executive Chef, Hyatt Centric Juhu, Mumbai, Mr. Rahul Srivastava.
I think there's a coincidence that my college have also won the best college of the year, IHM Hyderabad. I am from IHM Hyderabad, college 19. Thank you very much, sir. This is for us.
ये भी बहुत अच्छी बात है मंच पर खड़े होकर किसी भी सम्मान से पहले अपने गुरुओं को याद करना, अपने गुरुओं को मान देना, ये भी हमारे देश की बहुत बड़ी प्रथा है। हर चीज से पहले हम गुरु का नमन करते हैं। तो चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं। Our next award this evening is the Hotel Front Office Manager of the Year Award. in the upscale properties segment, this honor is backed by the EAM Rooms and Revenue Marasa Sarovar Premier Tirupati, Mr. Arpit Saha. Hospitality sector. Because it's a function, these people know everyone's secret. But nobody knows their secret as to how they flawlessly manage it all. I'm talking about the housekeeping segment. And this is the award for the Housekeeper of the Year for the luxury segment. I would like to invite on stage the Director of Housekeeping, the Lodi, New Delhi, Mr. Anil Kumar Tayal. In the upscale segment, this honor this year goes to the Executive Housekeeper of Radisson Gurugram, Mr. Bharat Bhushan Khiltian. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Sanjay Kaushik, the Senior Regional Director for Operations, to receive this honor. This award goes to the Executive Housekeeper, FC Sarovar Premier Gujarat, Mr. Dwinichan Bag. वैसे तो आपका जो लास्ट नेम है वो भारतवर्ष के बहुत जाने माने डिजाइनर के साथ मिलता है, लेकिन कभी आपके होटल में अगर कोई गेस्ट रूम से फोन करता है कि सोफे पे बाल है, तो लोगों को समझ आता है कि किस बारे में बात हो रही है? थैंक यू सो मच. चलिए आगे बढ़ते हैं. एंड विद दिस इट्स टाइम फॉर आवर नेक्स्ट अवार्ड, व्हिच इज the Hotel Sales Manager of the Year, and this award goes to the Director Sales and Marketing, Mahabub Sarovar Portico Suites, Ghaziabad, Mr. Nitin Kumar. Ladies and gentlemen, the last few honors of this night, and you know sir, I've been constantly thinking the gentleman on that chair at the back. Devi sir? Sir, आप ना होते तो इस अवार्ड सेरेमनी का क्या होता? क्योंकि कई बार केवल आप अकेले होते जो तालियां बजा रहे होते. Ladies and gentlemen, just for the next half an hour, can everyone be Mr. Baby? Let's make some noise for the award. Our next award is the Hotel Marketing Manager of the Year. We are continuing with this segment, and this is the Cluster Director of Marketing, the Western Hyderabad Mindspace, Ms. FHRAI Devaya Coordinator. Ms. FHRAI Devaya Coordinator. अगर अब भी तालियां नहीं बजेंगी तो मुझे लगेगा कि शायद आप उन्हें देखकर निशब्द थे, स्तब्ध थे। लेकिन प्लीज तालियां बजाइए। और अगले अवार्ड की ओर बढ़ते हैं, होटल रेवेन्यू मैनेजर ऑफ द ईयर। Talking of bottom lines, ladies and gentlemen, Associate Director of Revenue for Radisson Gurugram, Ms. Shilpi Jaiswal. I will yet again request Mr. Sanjay sir to please join us on the stage to receive the award. Mr. Sanjay Kaushik. The last few honors of the night, Restaurant Manager of the Year for a hotel restaurant, an in-house restaurant. This award goes to the Restaurant Manager, Seasonal Tastes, the Western Hyderabad Mindspace, Mr. Solomon Raj. The Restaurant Manager of the Year 2024 also goes to the Restaurant Manager for Radisson Blue, Faridabad, Mr. Rohit Bhatia. Of this night, recognizing two of the most crucial functions in hospitality. The Hotel HR Manager of the Year goes to the HR Manager for 4 points by Sheraton Mumbai, Ms. Indrajit Kaur. For a function that continues to do its job round the clock 24/7, quietly behind the scenes, all around you but never to be seen. Ladies and gentlemen, the security. And the Security Manager of the Year is 4 points by Sheraton Mumbai's Mr. Naveen Sheikh. firstly the presenters to kindly take a seat momentarily. और मैं चाहती तो ये थी कि आज की शाम मेरे पास कुछ गिफ्ट वाउचर्स और बचे थे. मैं चाहती तो ये थी कि आज की शाम में बेस्ट क्लैपर्स को, मोस्ट कंसिस्टेंट क्लैपर्स को ये अवार्ड देती, ये प्राइजेस दे देती. लेकिन मुझे लग रहा है कि अगर आज की शाम मुझे कैटेगरी चुननी हो तो होगा प्रोबेबली द नॉन क्लैपर ऑफ द नाइट, द मोस्ट डेडपैन एक्सप्रेशन ऑफ द इवनिंग. So before I actually move on and seriously give away these orders, I think just once and for all, for everyone that walked up on the stage this evening to receive an award, can I see your hands up in the air? And let's see if you clap for them for 15 seconds non-stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I would actually like to point out two very special people to you. Mr. Ghai is always a big favorite for his energy levels. एक सर बैठे पीछे बीच में, आपको बोल रही हूँ सर एक बार बस अपना हाथ उठा दीजिए हवा में. Not ऋषि सर, पीछे. आपके भी पीछे सर? Yes sir. You know, I asked all of you to clap for 15 seconds non-stop. And all of you, almost all of you indulged me. Thank you so much for that. Some of you did it for 10 seconds, some of you did it for 5. We all have different capacities. Some of you made the 15-second mark also. But then, Mr. Paramjit Ghai and Sir at the back, रुकेंगे. Sir, ऐसे आदमी भी औरतों को बहुत पसंद आते हैं. I love you. Sir, क्योंकि इससे ये पता चलता है कि मैं आपको जो भी करने को बोलूंगी, आप मेरी उम्मीद से बढ़ चढ़ के परफॉर्म करेंगे. और ये बहुत अच्छी बात है. But ladies and gentlemen, the reason I also said that was because this is the only time you clap for your own fraternity. Let's be generous in our applause. So this time, the next person that I'm inviting on the stage, let's showcase your applause to him, please. Please put your hands up for a vote of thanks as I invite on stage the co-chairman COC, Mr. Chetan Mehta.
So we finally come to the end of the 54th FHRAI convention. It's been a great 3 days that all of us have enjoyed, participated, and today is the final night where we have to say our goodbyes, but as they say, we never say goodbye, we'll see you again next year when the southern region hosts the convention. Am I right, Sir Shama Raju? We'll see you then again, we'll be there. But in the meantime, I need to put on record a few things. Starting with, I'd like to thank the Union Tourism Minister, Mr. Shekhawat, the Chief Minister of Goa, the Tourism Minister of Goa, Sri Suman Billa, Department of Tourism, Government of India, DG Tourism, Government of India, the IS officers who made it from Punjab and Goa, IFCL, Mr. Prudent and his complete team, Sir Jonky Rhodes is here. Next, coming to our sponsors, all of them, right from the top to the end.